Why is the Austin Police Department LGBT Criminal Justice World Conference important to Black LGBTQ plus community members? The Austin Police Department, in collaboration with the Lesbian and Gay Peace Officers Association, LGPOA, has announced the 4th World LGBTIQ plus Conference for Criminal Justice Professionals will be held in Austin, Texas in 2025. This will also be the first time this conference has been held in the United States. The conference is organized by the group Proud to Be Your Friend, which has held these events around the world since 2016. The Austin Police Department has been working to establish a strong relationship with the diverse community through innovative programs like creating the first and only LGBTQIA plus Peace Officers Association in Texas. However, though Austin is diverse in a lot of ways, it lacks Black professionals. According to U.S. Census Bureau statistics, less than 10% of Austin's population is Black. Organizing the World LGBTQ plus Conference for Criminal Justice Professionals in 2025 will be a great step towards training new police cadets to understand that 95% of day-to-day policing is more akin to social services than policing, and that the police academy should incorporate anti-racism and cultural diversity training. The Austin Police Department has had difficulty with resignations and recruitment in recent years.
What I've enjoyed most is listening to those presenters who have talked about not just what the problems are in terms of the relationship between our community and the police, but what the solutions are.
This conference was incredible in terms of they brought together historical context, advocates, people from different communities to be able to share their lived experience so that we can actually learn from that.
From the minute we started, I learned tangible things that I can take away and implement at home. The connections I've made, the fun that I've had with other delegates, it's been mind-blowing.
I loved listening to all the amazing ideas that are happening all over the world right now. Incredible innovations happening in policing to protect different types of vulnerable communities.
Being around people that have similar experiences to you, who you don't need to explain yourself to. We understand each other as queer people, but we also understand each other as police officers.
And when you're able to come here and look at an international conference of literally hundreds of other people that are exactly like you, it emboldens you, it empowers you, it fills you back up.
All right, so I'll be first to say this. That was a quite vanilla affair. And I think that speaks to the larger issue of policing, which is not just in Austin, but in most communities in America, it's still a very white dominant establishment, which now we're in a time and place where they're pulling back from anti-racism. They're pulling back from all of these things now. And it's, I don't know, it's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. I come from a small town in North Carolina where it is still a kind of good old boy culture where you're genuinely nervous, right? If somebody pulls you over. So I'm excited that this is happening. I do feel that this could have been probably done in a different place. Maybe Atlanta, where they're building Cop City right now, which I don't know if viewers know what Cop City is, but there are much bigger problems, and I think they're probably going to address at this summit. But, you know, here's hoping that it gets to a larger audience.
You know what really stuck out to me? The statistic of 95% of Austin Police Department services going towards social services. To me, I don't think that's the job of the police. And the fact that that amount of its resources are going, to police for that.
Should go to social services.
Right. Go to housing or education. Right. So that was just a little wild to see.
I mean, that's a thing. We just this week, right? When talking about police and guns, they say it's not guns, it's a mental health issue. They just had a vote this week in Congress where the entire Republican House of Representatives voted against expanding funding for healthcare and mental health care for young people. So I don't understand, what do they want people to do exactly?
Not only mental health care for young people, mental health care for the actual police officers.
Ooh, yes.
Because that's a very, very tough job that they're not trained for. And so they end up being a profession that has high rates of substance abuse and high rates of domestic abuse and high rates of suicide. The statistic that stuck out to me was it said Austin's a very diverse city, but only 10% is black. And I'm thinking, well, who else lives there? Like, what
Black professionals. Black professionals.
Well, Latinx
professionals.
folks
So-
would be there in Austin.
Oh, that's what
So
they
that's
mean?
what I'm. That's my thought.
That's my thought too, but that's a problem too
Right.
because I mean, being in South Florida, we have an understanding that even within the Latin
Yep.
and Latin community, they themselves have their own race issues and more likely than not identify with more of a white rhetoric anyway. So that's something that you
You
face
know,
also.
if this group is coming here and if we're going to talk about policing, it's time to talk about,
Let's
right?
talk
Because
about it.
most people don't understand policing. Most people don't understand the history of policing. Most people don't understand
Why they exist.
why they even exist. Most people don't understand how they've been used. I was watching a Netflix show the other night about the beating in LA way back in the 90s of Rodney King. And they said, you know, in LA, when they decided that they were going to participate in the war on drugs, they hired police officers from the South because they knew that they were racist and brought them to Los Angeles and taught them violence, right? And then you see something like that happen and people go, how could that happen? It's not happening
still
by
happening.
accident.
It's still
Well, it's
happening.
not happening by accident.
No.
It's happening intentionally.
I just
People
think-
know what's going on.
And when I think about it, I think about it's great that they're having it in Austin, right?
Right.
But then you want to think about what is their intent. You know,
Right.
you have to be intentional about it. So why are you having it in Austin when there are so many other places in the country that really need this, where there's only 10% black people there? You know, it seems like maybe their intent was not to have, not to be inclusive to black people.
But then again, maybe Austin was the city that accepted them.
That's right.
Maybe
They could have been
other
rejected from
cities,
other cities.
in the South were like,
I find that
"You
hard to
can't be
believe.
here."
With the Governor Abbott in Texas.
Yes.
I find that hard.
Their
to
governor is just like the
Yeah.
DeSantis
Well,
here.
Right.
The
no,
thing is,
I
though,
mean
and I'll
city,
say, I
though.
think from Austin's perspective, right? So if you think of the context of Texas, Austin is basically like the South Florida of Texas. Like they are the most liberal, open spot in Texas. So to me, this feels almost like an act of resistance for what's currently going on there as well, that I feel like they would court something like this because it's almost saying that we're trying to be that safe zone, unfortunately. But I mean, we need those safe zones in multiple cities.
That'd be like Wilton Manor hosting this.
All right.
5 black people.
Right.
I'll say I'm kind of glad they had it here so they can see how policing in America
Right.
really is, and then they should really bring it to the South so they can see how it is here.
Right.
The rest of the world thinks it's insane.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.